You look beautiful. Good afternoon. Happy Sunday, everybody. We have the wonderful and fantastic Tracy Ralph joining us today. Thank you for being here, Tracy. I so appreciate it.
Thank you, Kelly. Thank you for inviting me. I'm looking forward to it. It's great to see you. Is there anybody here yet?
There is one person that is, I have a one in my chat box, so we'll give people a few minutes to roll in. How are you doing? Are you doing okay?
I'm doing good. I know this solar eclipse thing going on.
Yeah.
I know it's still lingering for me because I'm having a different kind of day. I'm off today, but I'm fine.
Good.
How about you?
I am so pleased that you're here. I'm a little bit off myself. And it's funny, speaking of that whole energy thing that we often hear other people talking about. When I first joined this community and was going to the different rooms and the different chats, I was like, what are they talking about when they would say about their computer issues that they were having? This is in retrograde, that's in retrograde. And none of it made any sense to me. Right. And I have to tell you that I was like, now, is this just something that people are saying because it sounds good, or is this like an actual thing? And even though people were talking about it, I never personally experienced it until just not too long ago when we had that full moon in Leo or the new moon in Leo. Oh, friend. I mean, I thought I was like, I need to go to the ER or something. I was like, what is happening to me? It freaked me right out. And then somebody said to me, Kelly, it's like new moon in Leo, because I'm a Leo rising and a Leo sun. And I'm like, oh my God, like that's what it is. And so then I was like, oh, this is fine. I will be okay.
Yeah.
When you know the reason why.
Yeah, I like to keep certain people on my Instagram. I follow a couple of them that are readers, and they give you the little get-go for the day or for the next few days, so that I know how to adjust myself to it all.
Yeah. So we have some people joining us. Hello, everybody. Happy Sunday. Welcome,
nice
welcome. This is Tracy Ralph.
Thanks
Tracy Ralph, most of you know, is in the chat of many of the rooms that we all travel to. She is a wonderful and fantastic person. Is it okay if I share, Tracy, our funny, well, not our funny story, it's my funny story about you? Is that okay?
Sure. Yeah.
All right. So I don't want anyone to think that I'm a stalker. We'll start with that. It's so embarrassing, really. So way back when Kelly was like 17, my best friend's name was Tracy Ralph. And so, I'm old and I didn't remember my friend Tracy or her name. And then I'm in different chats, and Tracy has always been so kind to me, so supportive. I mean, she's kind and supportive to many, but I found her excessively so to me personally. And so I really appreciated it. And then all of a sudden it just occurred to me one day, I'm like, oh, that's my best friend's name from when I was 17. I wonder if it's her. And so I wanted to say something, or I thought she'd think I lost my ever-loving mind, right? And how not to make a friend is by stalking them on the internet. FYI, don't ever do that. And so when she started her channel, of course, I went there and I was like, is that her? Right? And she has these brilliant blue eyes, Tracy does. And my best friend had these brilliant blue eyes. And I thought, my God, I wonder if it's her. Because, I mean, we've all aged. So, I mean, she doesn't, she probably doesn't. I mean, I don't look like I did when I was 17 by any stretch of the imagination. I was like, oh, I wonder. And then one day I just said it. And I was like, oh, my God, she's either going to continue to talk to me or never talk to me again.
I think that that was meant to be. We're meant to cross paths sometime in life. But no, I'm not her old friend, but I'm her new friend.
Well, and also because you lived in Canada, which was the other reason why I was like, this has got to be her. I mean, what are the chances?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So now we're new friends. We're not old friends. And
sorry everybody about my hair. I know I look terrible today.
You look fantastic.
Having an off day today.
So let's say hi to everybody. We've got Anna Banana here and Manasseh's here. Good morning, my friends.
Nice
Jackie's in here. Gina M, Mama Bear, Nancy Riker's
Oh,
in the house.
great ones. A whole bunch of good ones you see all the time and you
Yes,
visit with.
absolutely. Stacy
Or
Starr's in the house. Vivian's here. Hello, hello, hello,
the
everybody.
same wavelength, same mindset.
Absolutely. Isn't that nice?
Oh yeah, it's awesome. Good to see you all.
So happy that everyone's here. Hi, Jackie. Hi, Karen. Oh, my Facebook link isn't working. Oh, sorry about that, Stacy. But thank you for letting me know. Karen is here stalking. I love it. Great. Another old friend I have to think about. Oh my gosh. So, as I said, Tracy has a channel, and uh, she's been away for a little bit because she was going through some surgery and then the recovery process, but she's on her way back now. She was just recently on Heart and Soul Connected which was lovely,
Oh,
and we
Alan's
did this like a
amazing.
month ago, right, or
Yeah.
more, because everyone knows Kelly's. I'm like a scheduler. What can I tell you? So we booked this like a long while
Yes,
ago,
we did. Yes.
and then I
And
screwed up the dates, and it's a whole thing. But
no,
anyways, Tracy's
I
here now.
I wasn't ready for a while there, and so
Yeah,
yeah, it's just been a hit and miss and
it's
whatnot.
all
It's
good.
really nice to be here.
So, what we're going to do today is we're going to sort of not make Tracy nervous, but we're going to like sort of hand the floor over to her. This show is all about the different ways in which we connect with spirit. And many of you in the chat know that Tracy in different chats will offer, something if she's got a download about something or a hit on something, whatever word you want to use. She is oftentimes, most often, offering different forms of support to people in the chat, or whether they've asked a question or they're just stating something in the chat. And so this morning or this afternoon when she joined, I said, what do you want to do? And she said, I'm feeling some things for you. And I said, well, like, use me as your guinea pig. So I'm not really sure what we're going to do, but I'm going to hand it over to Tracy and we'll just go with it is what we're going to do. So fasten your seatbelts, friends. Here we
No,
go.
I'm really low energy today, and like I said, I'm off today, so bear with me, everybody, a little bit. But
Absolutely.
first off, I would like to say about that interview I did with Allie, which was absolutely wonderful. She's amazing and put you right at ease right away.
Look
I
at
was,
this lovely comment. Sorry, Tracy. Nancy has said, Tracy has helped me so much in the chat
thank you,
with
Nancy.
a hug. How sweet.
Thank you. But I wanted to say with Allie, I was so excited to be there, and I had so much I wanted to talk about that I wasn't very grounded, and I feel like I didn't get out my point the way I wanted to just because of my enthusiasm overly. But we were talking about Reiki and sending Reiki and receiving Reiki, and afterwards I was thinking to myself, I hope people don't think that. I don't believe that sending Reiki isn't powerful. It's equally as powerful as if you're in front of somebody and you're doing it. It's just a different experience. And
Right.
that's kind of what I was putting out there. I don't mean to make anybody think that it isn't the same energy,
Right.
but because it is. Energy is energy. Like
Right.
even with mediumship, if I do somebody over the phone or whatever, or have them sitting at my kitchen table, it's the exact same reading. In fact, sometimes it's a little stronger if it's on the phone for me.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, I think it's because I can remove myself a little bit better.
Right. Gotcha.
I'm not sure,
Right.
but yeah. So no, just so I could clear that up. And another thing I wanted to say too, when I was talking about how Reiki should flow, how your hands get hot, and when your hands are hot, that means the person's either blocking you or they have a block there. And I know for myself, I can get hot right to my elbows
Wow.
if it's blocked. And you have to move it around and you have to talk to them and you have to get them to breathe through it. And just getting them to take a deep breath every now and again, it'll start to move again. But once it moves, it flows through that person and you're no longer hot. So
Lovely.
when I was talking about throwing energy to things like to throwing it to water, to running water, cold water or just a tap, having a window open, having a candle lit. That is kind of what I'm doing, is I'm trying to get rid of some of that excess. And
Oh, okay.
afterwards,
So
some people,
sort of, do you mean like to sort of like break up like where you fill the block?
yeah, like for me to, because it'll get uncomfortable for me too if they're
Gotcha. Okay.
blocking.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I want to interrupt you for 1 second. I put it on the screen. Jackie has said Tracy is a great contributor in the chats.
thank you. I find that, and I'm sure you all probably feel this way too, is we all kind of bump off of each other. Like
Yes.
I find that my gifts come in quicker, and that when we're all working together,
Mm-hmm.
than if it's just like now with me being on the camera and that, I'll feel blocked right away. But behind the camera, I'm picking up on everybody else's energy, and we're all on the same wavelength, and we're what one is saying is already what the other one's thinking, like it's already, so we bump off of each other all the time.
I find that I do that too, Tracy. I mean, everybody knows that, it took me a long time to get on that. I was probably the last person to figure out that I had a skill when it comes to reading cards. I was a little slow to the party, let's just say. Now, I mean, I own it and I claim it. But what's interesting to me is that if I look at the person's name, especially if I know them, and when I say I know them, like I don't know you, but I know you because I've seen you and I've spoken to you and said hello to you for months, right? If I'm looking at the person's name, that's really all I need to be able to just sort of like pick that up. And no one is more surprised than I am when I pull a card and someone says to me, "Oh, that totally resonates."
Yes.
Because
you know how you say
understand
you like to shuffle cards with your
I
energy
do.
and whatnot, because you feel it. Another thing you could do, Kelly, and I think this would be really good for you, is that if you had a pad and paper beside you and a pen, and when you see a name and something's coming, you just write it down, jot, or even just scratch along the thing, and that helps you focus.
That's a great idea.
You know how people have a hard time meditating, and you're one that does have a difficult time?
I totally do.
Put a little pen in your hand, a piece of paper. Even if you're just scratching and doodling, I bet you by the end of a program, you will have written words down that you didn't even realize you were writing.
That's really cool.
You might want
There's an exercise, everybody.
No, you might want to try that. And I wanted to talk to Kelly about from when I started watching you and how far you've come.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, amazing. But you're a trailblazer. But more importantly, like I don't really want to get into all of the kudos, but Spirit tells me about you that you are growing spiritually on a quick level. And I think it's always been there. And some of this anxiousness that you feel might actually be that.
Yes. I kind of started to think that because I've heard other people say that, and I've often wondered to myself, and just for 1 sec, not to make it about Kelly, but I do want to explain that. Okay, so many years ago when my mom first passed, so my mom passed away in March, and this was like in the beginning of May, I think. I was invited to my cousin's house for a medium that was coming. And I was like, of course, I want to go to a medium. I want to talk to my mom, right? And, I did the same thing that everybody does that's never been to a medium really before, where I put on my mom's sweater and my mom's jacket, and I had her picture and her watch and her this and her that. And I was like one of those people that had like all their wares inside their jacket. Like I was covered in my mom's stuff, thinking that would help me connect to her. And I was the last person to go in. And I went in and I sat down. And, the lady closed her eyes and she was like, this and that. Like nothing made any sense. And then she said to me when it was over, and I only got like 15 minutes with her. And she said, is there anyone that you want to hear from? Or is there anything that you want to know? And I said, I want to know if my mom's okay. Does my mother have something to tell me? And she said, okay, what's your mom's name? And I said, Sharon. And she closed her eyes. And then she came back and she said, every time I think about this, it makes me literally want to cry.
Right.
because I think to myself about the amount of time wasted, but that's a whole other show. She said to me that your mom is telling me that the anxiety that you are feeling is not yours, it's hers because of the things that were done.
Yes.
Now, I walked out of that room and I thought that lady's a whack job. She has no idea what she's talking about because my mom wasn't because I took it literally, right? My mind wasn't open to it. I didn't understand it. Now, 10 years later, I cannot tell you how many times that thought has come through my mind. I feel like I need to write to her and let her know that I think you were right. You're not a whack job. Like, you actually tuned into me better than anyone else ever has, to be honest. And number two, because the minute that I buried my mom, right, when we were able to scatter her ashes, it was like literally what my ears went up and I was like, oh, I can stand upright again.
Yeah.
So very interesting that she said that to me. So to your point about my anxieties, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, and I think that all of us carry a certain, to some degree, um, what people have said and made our identities for us,
Yes.
and that's a lot of work moving out of that. Like
Yes, it is.
owning, that's remembering who we are.
Mm-hmm.
We
Yeah.
came in here pure. We came in with our own paths, our own journeys, and stuff like that, and here to help one another. So, and because somebody thinks that you shouldn't do this or you shouldn't do that, you need to listen within. We need to start being a little bit more authentic with
Yes.
ourselves and know who we really are. You know that it's coming from a good place. I used to be worried about people, I guess because of the profession I was in. I was always worried about people thinking that I was a witch or I was doing negative things. I was scared to say things, right? And people treated it that way some ways. And I
Yes.
used to sit there and think, really, are you sitting at the same table as me? Because if you are, you should be able to pick up on my energy enough to know that I am not a harmful person. I'm not mean. This is not coming from a place of. So
I
these are things
totally
people
agree.
put on us,
Yeah. I
and they're
totally agree
not
with that
ours.
statement. I love that. And I don't mean to interrupt you, but I want to say this many times in my life, as I'm sure many times in most of our lives, we have all had that moment where like a disagreement has brought itself to our doorstep, right? We've
Yeah.
gotten in an argument or a fight or a disagreement or whatever with someone, or a heated discussion, as we like to call it. And you've thought to yourself, like, my feelings are really hurt that you even thought I was capable of doing such a
Yeah.
thing, because, like, do you not know who I am after all of these years? You don't know me. So
But
I
you learn to step out of it. You learn to look at them and think to yourself, I feel bad for you.
Yeah.
I feel bad for you that you can't feel that or see that, or that you felt for some need to be able to try and stop something. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. It's there. It's on them. It's not me. It's
Yeah.
their
I love
work.
that though, Tracy. That's such an amazing and valid point that you just made. Well said, my friend, first of all. And number two, it is something that every single person on the planet can relate to. That we allow those, a learned behavior or a past hurt to trigger. It's our defense mechanism, right? That we protect ourselves. But if we allow ourselves to sort of, step out of that energy and realize, it's on them that they
Well, we
don't
can go one step.
understand, not
We
on
can
me.
go one step farther too, and raise it up. Like you can look at them and think to yourself, you clearly need patience and you need understanding. And just because you
Yes.
might have hurt my feelings, you might have tried, and some of it might sit with me for a little bit.
Yes.
Clearly, you're in trouble where you're at, and
Yeah.
and so I would never ever discount somebody like that. Like I just because they're good people too, right? Like
Yes.
they
Two
just we
people
all
having a
need
bad
to
day.
help one another and
Yeah.
recognize things instead of owning it. That
Yes.
wasn't mine. That's yours.
Yeah.
Maybe
Hi,
we
Heather. Sorry.
work on.
Heather
Yeah. No,
saying hi.
oh, hi, Heather. But anyway, with you, Kelly, your guys are saying that a lot of your anxiety and when it comes from this fear, and you're going to be challenged more and more, and you're doing a remarkable job at putting it aside. It's going to be a past issue for you before long. Once you, because you're the type of person, if you can identify
yes,
what it is that's going on for you, you can work with it. Then you can set up a plan, you can set up a goals and whatnot. So just as important for somebody like you is going to your therapy sessions and learning different tools and skills and whatnot, equally as important for you will be something like Reiki, because Reiki will teach you about the chakras. It will teach you to ground. It will teach you to calm yourself.
Yep.
And it'll teach you to see your light. And you won't be so panicked.
Yep.
When you feel these things come in, it's going to be really comfortable for you then, right? So
yep.
this is something you might want to offer into it, because I can see yours is going to keep growing.
Oh,
and you're growing fast.
I appreciate you saying that advice. I really appreciate that. As I said, I was saying to Tracy when she joined me backstage that I know that she was talking about Reiki on Ali's show, and I said, like, that's something that I've been seriously considering, like, for my own self, not to be like a Reiki person or to offer Reiki, but for myself, because I know
I don't teach it, and I don't. It's nothing for me to say it. Like, I'm not. It's. I got no rod in the iron or whatever they say. It's just. But this is what Spirit tells me about you, because I'm just trying to prepare you for. When I hear your name, it's like you've arrived. It's like you're watch me go. That's what it's going to be. Like, you're very driven, for starters.
Yep.
You're a great communicator. You like people, and you have a healthy.
Most of the people, yes. No, I'm
teasing. You have a healthy ego. You're doing it for the right reasons, and you want to understand, and you want the message out, and you want to grow. You want to be able to bring more and more to people, and you are going to. So for you, for self-check, maybe something like that would be something for you, if you can find a person around you that does that, and just even if you don't learn it for yourself, have a session done on you just to calm. But anyway, that's
no, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Hi Marie, how's it going? Thank you for being here, everybody. So just a couple comments I want to read to you, Tracy, that people have said while we're talking. Anna said that's what she does when she meditates, referring to the writing it down, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Karen Robinson said, I used to attend a meeting of psychics and witches, wizards in Los Angeles. Perhaps you guys can arrange to do that once a month or so, to talk amongst yourself and share and learn, meaning sharing our experiences. That's lovely. That's a great suggestion, Karen. I like that a lot. Nancy Riker says, resonates a lot with me, what we were talking about. Manasa says, my experience is that many people are shut down and disconnected. So that's interesting.
We are all on the same wavelength. So every time somebody has a hit and you think to yourself, wow, they're pretty good, really, it's a reflection of us all. We're bumping off each other's energy. We're picking up on, if that chat wasn't there, mine would probably be a lot duller.
Yes. I mean, I totally own that, Tracy.
All
I literally, I feel like I can feel myself like getting on even more, like as the chat comes up, as those numbers increase and more people are sharing. Like,
it's exciting, because none of us know how far we're going to be able to jump. Like,
exactly, it is very exciting. Lovely. Manasa says that she is a Reiki master, so that's there is help out there, which I love. Jackie says, oh, Jackie, you're so sweet. Thank you. You are shining your light to others and need to recognize and acknowledge what a good job you do, Kelly. Thank you. You guys are going to make me cry, so stop. So to that point there about the Reiki. So are you a Reiki master?
I am.
Okay.
I am. And I'm one of those weirdos that I did the first and second degree, and I did them twice because I wasn't using it like wanted to. So I wanted to. So I went and redid it again. Like it, I have spent thousands of dollars with my Reiki and whatnot, but yeah, I did. I've got my master's in it, and
Wow.
it's incredible. And
So you are a Reiki master.
It's great for things like colicky babies and that too. Like,
yes, and animals apparently. This is, I mean, and when I say apparently, I don't mean. I mean that's just a thing that I've heard that's been talked about recently, that people are giving healing energy or Reiki or whatever the terminology is to their animals that are sick. I believe they give us some sort of a Reiki, like that. It's very therapeutic. It's a proven statistic that, that you spend a certain amount of minutes stroking an animal, like in a petting kind of motion. When you sit still, that it actually relieves your tension, reduces your blood pressure and so forth. And so it's got to work the same way on them, I would think.
Yeah, right? For sure it does. Yeah.
So it makes sense to me. So you are a Reiki master.
I feel like my thing coming on with these channels and stuff, and I think probably a lot of us feel this way. I don't know. I feel like a bit of a messenger. My guides are really, really pushing me in the direction of forgiveness and kindness.
Yes.
I'm an Aquarian and sun sign, and I'm a Gemini moon sign and a Capricorn rising. So I am a very mental person, and so for me, emotions are really tough. Like I have a hard time relating, and they say how, like the Queen of Swords or the King of Swords, we can be very blunt. I can't be blunt, and I don't mean to be, and stuff like that. But I've found for the last 2 years, and so this is telling me where we went into the heart space. I went into my heart space, and the wisdoms and the knowledge, and it's the key to everything. It really is held in there. And so I think that we're all being kind of pushed that way. And I just think with so much anger out there, and I think a lot of people are judging one another.
Yeah.
Everybody counts. Yeah. Everybody's voice matters.
Yes.
And we all came from light.
Yeah.
We need to remember that, and we need to rise above some of that in order for that energy to be picked up.
100%.
It's important that person that's negative, or that person that's carrying these things, it's important that they get to their light too, because it brightens mine. We're all one.
Yes.
We need to keep remembering that. So I just I have an underlying feeling about that at all times.
Yeah.
I always work with the big picture.
Yeah.
I have a hard time. I don't hate. I really don't, because I'm aware, because my guests and whatnot, and my guides, and that I have seen from the perspective of being in the divine space, how it all plays out for us all and people, and how we're all connected. So I'm not wording this right, and I'm not even sure where I want to go with that, but I just know that will always be my undertone.
You are wording it correctly, and I think that here's the thing: we all have, because we're in this community, we all have a general understanding of where that mindset is taking us, right? Where you hope that those words of wisdom will land us.
Right.
So don't worry that you're not articulating yourself well, because you are. Because we have Indigo Chrysalis saying, I can totally relate, Tracy, my dear. So we like
good. Well, that's good.
You're resonating.
I'm also a person that I've had so many messages through dreams.
Yes, and Marie Henson says I go visiting in my sleep.
Yeah, and I have a lot of past life dreams as well, different things that'll come in. I always have, if there's whales involved in my thing, then I know that's usually my ancestors, and it's usually a past life experience or lesson that I've carried, I learned something in that life that I need to bring into this life.
I pulled a card because of what you were talking about.
Right.
And check out what I got, friends, because this is just sort of illuminating the message that you just gave us. So I've got crane, which is surrender. And the message on the bottom of the card is let go of limiting beliefs, be as expansive in your thoughts as your soul is.
Very good. Yeah, nice. Very nice.
Love it. Hi, everyone. Hi, MK Karen. Hi, Linda. Thank you, everyone, for being here and for hanging out with us. So I just want to quickly let everyone know, I don't want you to feel like I'm being vain or, I don't want you to feel awkward when I say this. So you are a Reiki master. You create amazing jewelry with crystals. You are very well versed in the crystal world. Shall I call it that, for lack of a better way to put it?
Oh, no, I'm a student in that.
Chakras. You channel spirit. You're very well rounded with your gifts.
I've had a lot of experiences. I've had.
When was your first spiritual experience, do you think? Tracy, do you remember?
Very, very little. Very young. I know. I think I was in junior. Well, way before that, I had many experiences. I was always scared of them.
Owl sight.
And when I was I think I was a teenager, and I had this dream this one time about my brother, and that he had a car accident in my dream. But in my dream, he was trapped in the car, and he was with his friend, and his friend was thrown from the car, and the car caught fire. But in my dream,
yikes!
I was standing on a bridge, and I was watching the whole thing. And anyway, he was hollering for help in the dream, and I woke up crying because in my dream I yelled to God, to the angels, to everybody, help him. Right. Like, just like, do what you got to do, but help him. Right. Anyway, I woke up my mom because I had this dream and whatnot. Anyway, she calmed me down and sent me back to bed and all that sort of thing. But my brother rolled his car that night, and he was thrown from the car, and his friend was trapped in the car, and the car never caught fire. But they were both fine. The car was a complete total, like it had flipped, and it was how they survived it. And I firmly know why they survived it.
I asked the angels to help.
We're powerful people. Like, these are our souls.
I've got like total goosebumps all over my body. Jesus.
No, but I knew what I'd done that night, and I also knew that you can't be doing that all the time too, right?
Right.
And I know when my grandpa, one of my grandfathers, who passed away on Valentine's Day, and I was at school, but I knew he died that day before they came and told me, and I started crying before they even got to the classroom to come tell me, stuff like that. So it started with that, and I think probably my very first visit where I actually communicated at length was with my grandfather after he passed, and it was he came to say goodbye, and we know that he was all right and stuff like that. But yeah, no, I always thought I was psychic. I never but I would talk to angels and I would talk to spirits. I've sent spirits to light and stuff like that, but I still never considered that a medium. I don't know why.
Gotcha.
And then I read a book one day, and it was like,
okay, this is what I'm doing. like I'm going to call myself this because that's what I'm doing.
My family was cracked up at me because they were like, Chase, like, how stunned can you be? Like,
well, no, but that's a really good point. That's a really good point that you just mentioned, because there's a lot of people within this community that say that they're afraid to tell their friends and family because they will be judged. But so your family is supportive of your gifts?
They are. They don't always like they do. My brothers, for example, I don't know how deep their belief is and all of this stuff,
but they support you, though.
But they believe me.
Well, that's all. I mean, that's lovely, right?
They know I'm not BSing when I say things, so they know it's real for me.
And
But
so that must make a massive difference in you
oh,
when
absolutely.
you were younger, like growing up at home, being able to be embraced instead of being feeling like you needed to hide it away from people, right? That must have made a massive
I
difference for you.
couldn't. I didn't really hide it. I did. I didn't really have conversations, but I really didn't have anybody I could do that with. My mom.
Right.
And I would go to. I'm not religious, but growing up, being raised Catholic, and whatnot, and you go to church and stuff. I used to go to church back then. Churches were unlocked, and you could go in
Yep.
at
At
any
any
time of
time.
the day.
Yeah.
And I would go in there and it would be empty. And I like lighting candles
Yeah.
from a young age. So I would go in and I would light all these candles for all these people that I loved and were gone and whatnot. And then I'd say a quick little prayer, and then I'd go lay on one of the pews,
Right.
and I would cross one leg over the other, and I was so comfortable in God's energy.
That's
Always.
beautiful.
I would just talk away at him.
Yeah.
And sometimes Bruce would come in and he would say, "Who's here?" And I would just be laying there, my foot flopping and whatnot. And I would say, "It's just me, Tracy." And he's like, "I'm just lighting a few candles." He's like, "All right." And he'd always leave me. Like, for me, that was a good place to go. I
I
didn't
love
like
that.
it as much when there was people in it, because then you saw all the sides of people that you didn't always want to see or feel.
Yeah.
So when I was in there by myself and I just carried what I got out of it, the love, the light, the good
I think
intentions.
that's such a beautiful experience because not many people, I mean, I don't know, I've heard lots of people, we've all heard lots of stories of people talking about how they first started to connect, and many people don't seem to ever tell a story that has that kind of beautiful sort of background to it, and the fact that you felt comfortable in a spot, right, that you had the support of your family, that you went there and you were just left to experience that. That's beautiful. I
Well,
love
thank
that.
you. Yeah, no, it was
Marie says that she has had deja vu. It's not view, it's vu, and premonition dreams when she was a kid, but she never told anyone.
yeah.
And yes, that was Mark. So Mark put up the new gazebo yesterday, everyone,
Oh,
and
nice. You did do it.
it
Yay.
hasn't been anchored yet to the ground, and it's super windy here
Windy.
and
Oh,
raining.
so now he's
And so
walking.
now he keeps looking out the window to make sure it's still standing and hasn't flown across the fence to someone else's backyard.
Hey, so what to what they were just saying is how they have their deja vus and
Yep.
Marie and whatnot. So the more you acknowledge them and the
Yep.
more you start paying attention, and I'm sure you already know this,
Yep.
but the more they're going to happen.
Yeah,
And
I
it's
used to have it all the time when I was younger. Probably I mean, from when I can remember, and that's another thing I need to ask in a minute about memory. But so probably from about the time I was like 10 till maybe I was like 16, I used to have deja vu. God, why do I keep calling it view? It's so weird. I used to have it all the time, like all the time. And I remember trying to ask my mom, trying to literally say to my mom, "So, mom, have you ever had that thing, where like you go somewhere and like you think like I've been here before?" And she was like, "What?" No, I thought it was totally normal that everyone did that. And my mom was like, "You're crazy. That's not a normal thing." And so I was like, when my mom was kind of looking at me like I had lost my ever loving mind, I stopped asking. But that was really the only person that I would ask, because then I became afraid to say anything to other people. But I don't remember feeling any sort of way about it, good, bad, or otherwise. I just kept it to myself.
well, deja vus are just they happen all the time. I don't have them happen very often anymore. I used to have them happen all the time, but hardly at all anymore. But if you're paying attention to signs and symbols, there's like
Oh,
a thread.
yes.
And then when you start really paying attention and you start acknowledging it, you have to voice it, whether it be to yourself, to a piece of
Mm-hmm.
paper, or whatever, but you have to actually voice it. And it'll be like a link. It'll be, make it like a Easter egg hunt. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
Because you'll go to the next one, leads to another one, to leads to another one. And that's how it kind of starts with all that. I'm not one that I started a book of signs and symbols that Spirit gives me, and they've
That's
given
that.
me some, but they mostly
Do
just
you
tell.
do it sorry, do you do it like a journal kind of thing? Where
Yeah,
you have,
I have one book that I have in there just for signs and symbols that I might
I
get,
love that.
but I don't really have a lot in it because I don't get a lot that way. Spirit,
See, I get tons
when
that way.
when they work with me, when I'm doing mediumship, I actually get seen and I can hear pretty clear, not through my ears, but through my
Yeah.
mind and whatnot. So they don't really do like I know wedding band. There was one with a wedding band, and when he was speaking to me, it was I was doing a reading for him for his wife. He was
Hmm.
passed, and he kept going like this with his wedding ring and whatnot. And I thought because so I said to her, he's I'm just wondering, did you remove your wedding ring? Because if you did, he's acknowledging that's okay. He
Yeah.
understands. He's seen that and whatnot. And she said, well, that's good to know and whatnot. But he kept going back to the wedding ring, like I hadn't got it quite right.
Right.
So I
Can you
had,
guys hear that noise? I'm just gonna close the patio door. Keep talking. I can totally
yeah,
hear you. But Mark's drilling outside trying to anchor the gazebo to the ground. Good Lord, you guys. Honestly, never a dull moment.
but I was going to say that so I obviously wasn't catching on to what he was trying to say with this ring because he kept doing it after a while. So then I brought it up again to her. I said, I still have a thing going on with the wedding ring. And she said, what you don't know is this was a gift from my daughters bought me this reading
Wow.
because this one was in a different province and everything else while I
Right.
was reading. And when she said my daughters in another province had bought this reading for her, and she said today would be our wedding anniversary. So now I wrote that down in my sign symbol book.
Yeah.
You might think would be a married or couple. It's an anniversary for me now. Like
Right.
I'll kind of carry that with that.
Love
Different
that.
different ones I have, but I don't really have a really big
Yeah.
list. It may be a
Well, I
little.
think it's interesting that you mentioned that because I've never thought of doing that, but like I'll get like pennies and dimes and stuff like that, and I don't know why I do it. I but I'll like pick it up and I try to put it as close to the spot as I can.
Okay.
And I don't know why. I have no idea why I thought that that's what I should do. Like somehow like that's a magical spot now, and so I want to remember that. I guess I don't know.
Oh, cool.
And so I have dishes all over the house with pennies and dimes in it that have been collected from within a certain radius of that dish. It's totally wacky,
Oh,
but
that is
that's what I
cool.
do.
Yeah.
Anna says in the chat here, aside from 2 reoccurring dreams, the only dreams I remember involved people passing away. Most times I would get about 2 months warning or a goodbye visit at the moment of death.
Yeah. That's a
I've
beautiful.
never been visited by anyone, but I'll tell you what, friends, all of my friends that are connected, I had a dream. I don't know that I've ever told this story. So I had a dream when I was getting married to my ex-husband. We were planning the wedding, and my mom and my sister and my grandmother had come. We had gone to the where my wedding dress was for fitting, and they'd seen me in it and whatever. And then we went for dinner. And my grandmother said to me, your papa would be so proud of you, and so and I got really emotional, and I said, like, I really miss my papa, and I know he would be happy. And anyway, so I went home, and it was such a weird dream that I still to this day at 56 years of age don't know if it was a dream or if it was a visit, because I was asleep, and in my dream I was asleep, and I woke up and I walked out to the living room and I did this whole thing, and then when I woke up I did the exact same thing that I did in my dream, and then till when I sat down on the couch I was like, whoa, this is weird.
That is weird.
Right.
I've
So
had
like I feel like I could feel it, and it was so vivid and so real, but it wasn't real in terms of like I could see you. It was real in terms of like I could feel it, which
right.
is not usually my experience with my dreams. Usually it's like seeing it. It's not really feeling it. Those kind of dreams where you wake up and you're like,
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
feel it. It was one of those kind of things. And I've never had a dream that intense ever in my life. Only that one time that I recall. And
They
I
do get
still,
confusing. Like when messages come through, when guides and stuff or spirit coming in, it can get really confusing sometimes because I know myself too. I was sleeping different
yeah,
times, and this little boy. When after I was done, I wasn't sure if I was dreaming it or if I actually got up, but I was up. So, but my husband had gone to work, and it was about 4 o'clock in the morning, and he leaves about 4 in the morning, and I had gone back into bed, and I had just dozed off, and then all of a sudden I could hear this noise going on. This little one giggling and laughing,
mhm,
and I didn't have any little ones at that time. Like mine were growing, so I was just like, "What is that?" So I sat up on the side of the bed, and there was then at that time we had the old phones.
right,
It was on a desk in my bedroom, and a little boy. He was probably about, I don't know, 4. He had blonde hair and little curly ringlets. He was absolutely gorgeous. He was playing with the phone and he was laughing.
right.
And I said, "What are you doing?" And he said to me, "I'm playing with the phone." And he kept playing with the phone. And I told him, "Put the phone down." And he kept doing it and he would push in numbers. I said, "Say it again, put the phone down." And he was like, he, all of a sudden I could hear the operator on the other end. And she was saying, "Is everything okay?" So then I went over to the phone. It was he dropped the phone and he ran because I went to the phone and I said, "It's just my little one playing with the phone, operator," and I hung up the phone. And I came out to the kitchen and he ran into the kitchen and he ran. My cupboards were in a corner thing, like he went in the little corner thing, and he sat there with his little knees up in front of himself, and he had his little hands wrapped around his knees, and he was rocking. And he said, "You could see cold. I
Yeah,
could see breath
yeah,
cold." And then I realized what was going on.
yeah.
Like
That it
I was
wasn't, yeah,
thrown, right? But it was this like, and I went to turn the light on because it was still dark in the kitchen. And he says, I don't like the light." And I stopped for a minute and I looked at him. I said, "You need light. Light is what's going to get you warm."
yeah,
And I flicked on the light and he disappeared.
yeah.
I had a really, really strong sense that his mother was in spirit and this little guy was trapped between,
Oh,
he was in ghost spirit. And his mother in spirit was trying to get him to stop, slow down long enough because he was running all over the
so
place
that she
and
could reach him. Yeah,
so that she could get him.
yeah.
And in that second, I know she got him. Like
Oh, that's
I spent
lovely.
the rest of the day walking around the house looking every now and again to like, where is this little guy? And did this really
Yeah,
happen? Was I
yeah,
dreaming? Like, but it's real. And
yeah.
but it starts out in a sleep and can come out like that.
Hmm.
It confuses us.
It does confuse us. So Nancy says that I have visits all the time in my dreams. Marie says I had 2 dreams. Each dream 3 nights in a row, so six nights straight, about 9/11, about 30 days before it happened.
Wow. Wow.
Wow. That must have been horrible dreams. My God. Um, Anna Banana says it's kind of amazing when you see them dressed exactly as they looked at their funeral.
See, when I do mediumship,
Hmm.
and people come in,
Oh,
and I see them, but I'm never sure if that's what their parent or their loved one looked like
right, right.
because it's not about looks. They don't talk about the look of it,
Yeah,
but usually they show up probably in a way that they would identify with them or in a healthy
yes,
way.
yeah,
But I
yeah.
don't usually go on like I remember one lady she was Ukrainian that who came in and she had her babushka on and she had a big apron on and she was out chopping wood and stuff like that. So when I would say that, they'd click into that. But
Yes,
usually I don't know if they look exactly like what I'm seeing because they're,
gotcha.
you know,
I get what you mean. Pierrette says I dreamt of my dad in a coffin with his arm falling out. Every time I placed it back in position, he got younger. The last time was my nephew's face. Next day, my nephew died.
wow,
That's very interesting.
that's
I'm very
yeah,
sorry for that. I mean, it sounds I think
Feels
there
like
is,
it's more of an emotional thing that's going on
yeah,
within you, your own personal healing thing,
yeah,
and it comes out in dreams in a weird way for us and distorted.
yeah, yeah,
It's not really what it. Um, when you have that want and that love to make things, you want so badly to make things better for
yeah,
somebody, or
yeah. 100%. I was so I had a reading done by Wisdom Seeker Joan, and it was lovely. And she said to me that my dad's trying to communicate with me, but that I'm missing the signs. And so she said, like, I'm here now, so use me to communicate with your daughter. And he said, no, this is between my daughter and me and friends. I mean, I was freaked out for weeks. I was like, everyone I talked to, I'm like, what do you think this means? What do you think? Because I didn't understand, and it scared me. Like, why
yeah.
would my daddy, who loves me, not want to use the opportunity to communicate with me if he could?
See,
And of
I
course, went
won't do
straight to
mediumship
fear.
readings online, like in the chat and stuff like that.
Yeah,
If a loved one comes through, it would be just for a quick second to say something,
right,
the odd time.
right.
Most of the time, it's my psychic side of me that's picking up on things. But I really think that I don't think I would ever do that anyway, because
Yeah,
I make it a real to do. When I invite loved ones into my space,
yes,
before they come, I like to clean it. I like to
yes,
put nice candles out. I like to welcome them
yeah,
in, and you're going to get a much better reading that way.
yeah.
And it is private and it is emotional for
It
people.
is, and
And they're
Anna
careful. They would
is
be very careful to what they would say to you in a chat thing,
100%, 100%.
out of
Anna
protection.
says in the chat here, and she's one of the people that I spoke to about it. She said, because he knows you will have the ability to talk to him directly when you are ready. And so my whole
Yeah.
point of mentioning that is not in any way to disparage what Wisdom Seeker Joan did, because she's fabulous. I loved her, and she's fantastic. But I'm saying, like, when I was told that, just like anyone else who gets a reading that isn't fully understanding, because we want to hear what we think we want to hear. And when we're told that they don't want to communicate you with me, or when I was told that, I went immediately to, I'm scared. It must be something bad.
Right.
And
Right.
so my reason for bringing that up it was for you and us in the chat to, if there's anyone else that's ever had that experience, we all go to a medium or to a psychic or whatever, a card reader, expecting to know, like, we already think we know the answer to the question, but we're going to ask the question anyways, no matter whether it's cards or people. We want to know who I want to hear from my mom. Well, Aunt Carol from, like, my next door neighbor's third cousin removed shows up, and you're like, I don't know anybody by that name, until
Yeah.
you go home 2 weeks later and you're like, oh crap, I know who that
Yeah.
is. And so we have this, like, there's a part of that expected outcome that we already have on us, that we believe that's what we're going to hear. And then
Right.
there's also the fear thing, because we don't hear what we want to hear or what we expected to hear. And so I wondered if we could just, like, touch on that for a moment. And I
Right.
think somehow I tied that up in the dreams, right? That when we were talking about Pierrett's dream specifically, right? You have this horrible dream, and it's like, oh my
She
God,
also
what does that
has.
mean?
She also had those were there was visitation mixed with
Yeah, right.
mixed
Some emotional healing, right?
her own dream state, mixed with an actual message in a different part. Like they just got combined together, I
Yeah.
think.
Hi, Wendy, by the way. Yeah, I
So
think that's super interesting. I was a part of a dream class recently, and this is what made me go to it. So I told them my dream, and friends, it was scary as crap. Basically, in a nutshell, real fast, I had some man who had, like, a mask on his face, but it looked like the mask from, like, Phantom of the Opera, or like the Antifa mask. I know, like, whatever.
mhm.
And he kept watching me. I was at, like, a party or something. There was a lot of people around. It didn't feel like a celebratory thing. It was just like, like you have a bunch of people in your house kind of idea. I don't know where I was, and I wasn't with anyone. I was by myself, which was random. But he was, like, watching me, and it was making me feel, like, guarded, and I was kind of like, whoa, what do you like? Whoa, you're making me feel uncomfortable. And then all of a sudden he came up to me and he touched my arm. but not in a way like, you know, hey, it was like grab my arm as if he was going to direct me somewhere. And I just kind of looked at him, and that's when he looked down at me, and I couldn't see any facial features, just this mask, and it kind of made me go, oh. And he had my bag, and I know this is weird. So I have a bag that's like black and white polka dot with a big K on it. I know, right? But it was a gift. And so he showed me something of mine, right? And when he showed me something of mine, that's when my fear kicked in. And it was like, okay, this is not me thinking that you're watching me. You really are watching me, because you've got something of mine. And he just sort of nodded his head and pointed like with his head in a direction, motioned. And I looked over, and there was someone else that he knew that I knew. And I don't remember who that was. And I don't remember anything else after that until now I'm at my house. And I'm in the washroom, and I've come out of the shower, and I've got the towel wrapped around me, and all the cats are like in between my feet. And I'm like, come on, get out of the bathroom. I'm going to trip and kill myself. I have a huge fear of the bathroom and showers and that whole bit. And so it's not, that fear isn't unusual for me to experience. And so anyways, as I went to walk out of the room, I remembered that I didn't turn the light off. So I sort of took a step back. And when I went to flick the switch off, the hand came over my face and pulled me back. And I woke up, and I was like, oh my God. I was so freaked out by that.
Oh,
you know, what does it mean? What does it mean? And I went into the dream class, and they basically said to me that it was some sort of an emotional release, just as you were saying with Pierre. That's what I felt better, because I had some kind of understanding of it, right? It wasn't about, you know, someone's out to get me kind of dream.
Yeah, I think it gets all distorted when we have all these different things going on that we're working through or concerned about or carrying on with, mixed with our messaging thing. You know, yeah.
Well, then also it's the interpretation of the message too, right?
Yeah. And when you get a message dream, you know you've clearly gotten a message dream as a rule. Like they're completely different.
Right.
To your regular.
Yeah. I think that's a really good point. I do want to say, so Wendy's here, and thank you, Wendy, for being here. Sorry, I missed something.
Hi, Wendy.
I thought I missed something. Did I miss something? No, I didn't.
No.
People are talking on and back and forth. So, is there anything else that you wanna mention real quick before we go, Tracy? Are you going anywhere? Are you going on anyone's channel? Got anything coming up for you?
I might be going on with Allie and a group of others for dream things.
Nice.
For dreaming, and I'm not sure when. They haven't set the date yet and time, but other than that, no, I don't have any. It's kind of hard for me because I have physio and different things going on. So and I have to work around because I'm not able to. I can drive my vehicle and stuff now, but getting in and out of the truck and that, I'm okay with that too. But getting back into the house, I'm not always sure if I'm going to be able to get in there.
Yes, yeah,
I always do. Yeah. But if I was by myself, I'm not sure that I. So everything's.
Listen, when it's supposed to happen, it'll happen. But you know, baby steps, and you're doing a good thing. And, you know, you're moving forward. So. Thank you for being here, Tracy.
Thank you for having me.
You are welcome anytime, my friend. You if you don't know that, now you do. I've said it. Everyone in the chat, please show our friends some love. Please do go and check out her channel. She is a wonderful person, as you have now got to meet her and get to know her a little bit better. She does amazing things, and she's a wonderful support system to many of us in the different chats.
All the same can be said for you, for sure. You've done a lot of good for a lot of people.
Thank you kindly, my friend. So I want to say thank you again to everyone for being here. And thank you, Sharon Sipe, for being here and for keeping us all safe and putting all the links in the chat. Stacy Starr was here doing that earlier. Other people have done that. You guys are fantastic and wonderful. And what does Kelly have coming up? Get out your notepads and write it down, friends. Honest to God, right? So I have the daily reads are coming up. They'll be posted tomorrow morning. And on Achieving Wellness, we're going to be talking about overcoming inferiority complex on Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. That is a request by a subscriber. So we're going to talk about that. And on Friday, for Thank Spirit, it's Friday, I have Ben from Beneficial Tarot and Gerald from Tarot Stash coming, and we're going to do something a little bit fun, out of the ordinary for Thank Spirit, it's Friday. So I hope you can all join us for that. It's 3 p.m. Eastern. Not that anyone's going to remember all this, but the notifications are out on the channel. If you don't get
You're
them,
a busy girl.
go to the channel and see them, right? And then Friday afternoon, when I'm finished Thank Spirits Friday, I'm going on to Sun Psychic Jean's channel. And then on Saturday, I will be on Tarot Living with Manasa for a Mother's Day special. And then Sun Psychic Jean will be back on Sunday for a Mother's Day special. Apparently on Tuesday, I'm going on with Kathleen J. Lightworker. So if you
Mama Bear just subscribed to me, so thank you, Mama Bear.
That's very sweet. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you for hanging out with us. Thank you for sharing a little bit of your Sunday afternoon, and thank you for connecting with us. We appreciate it very much.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Until we see each other again.
Sorry, I look so bad this time. Jeez.
You look beautiful. Stop it. The Canadian girls were rocking it today, friends. All right. From me to you, many blessings. Mwah.
Mwah.
Bye, everyone.
Take care, everybody. Enjoy your day.